sleeping. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own.
Not your average nigga, I'm a god out the hood. They can't downplay me, I came up, I'm elevated. I ain't gotta say too much for them to know I'm coming for what's mine. You know they see me in my presence, say they see how I'm coming. Young, but you not just gonna finesse me like you did my peoples. Then back when you said they was emancipated. This ain't that. Your head too big, you feeling yourself. The game wasn't fair, you had the advantage, we wasn't educated. I don't look at you people the same. Nah. Your worst nightmare, my skin tone about them chains. Yeah. Not no circus lion, son, I can't be tamed. You gon' have to kill me, pussy, Toby ain't my name. Y'all still wanna think our history started when we were slaves? What? Come on now, talk about them pyramids we made. I was chosen by that man, you know y'all just been running game. The nerve of you acting like...
Peace and blessings, family, and welcome back to Shifting the Culture podcast. I'm your host, Brother King Cam, and tonight, man, we have a special guest joining us. But first, we want to shout out the YouTube family. Shout out to the YouTube family. We've been growing over there, man, so appreciate everybody who has been liking, subscribe to the channel, and sharing out the link, family. So, man, we want you to make sure that you smash that like button. We want to make sure that you... Hold on. We want to make sure that you smash that like button. We want to make sure that you smash the subscribe button and hit the bell so you can stay notified each and every time that we drop a video. Shout out to the Facebook family that's tuning in as well. Make sure, Facebook, that you like as well as share this out. And then shout out to my Twitter family as well. We want you to retweet. Now, tonight for our special guest, man, we're going to be discussing Black-owned businesses. Obviously, you know, this is a topic that we discuss on an often basis, you know, on a regular basis. We're always talking about entrepreneurship and things like that. We in the midst of this Target boycott and everything that's been taking place with all of these big retailers around DEI, all of those different things, Costco, all of those different type of things, and the buy-in from Reverend Al Sharpton. We discussed that on the show. So tonight we have somebody who has a firsthand experience in business, specifically the restaurant industry, and he's going to be coming and giving his perspective. But I want to introduce you to our brother. He has always envisioned owning his own food business. Whenever he talks about new food concepts, his creative juices spring into action. He learned to cook from his mother at an early age and looked forward to experimenting in the kitchen for family celebrations. A native of Boston, he has worked as an entrepreneur for more than 30 years, gaining experience at all levels of the food industry, from family-style establishments to fine dining, honing his culinary art skills at Johnson & Wales. During his career, he owned 3 restaurants in Boston and founded Daryl's Place, home of the famous Shabazz Wings in Springfield, Massachusetts. During the pandemic, Chef Daryl started a successful online gourmet food business featuring his famous signature sauces, breading mix, and original bean pie. A health enthusiast, Chef Daryl is passionate about creating simple, nutritious products that add flavor to family-cooked meals. I want to go ahead and bring our brother, Chef Daryl, to the show. Welcome to Shifting the Culture, Black man. Y'all give a round of applause to Chef Daryl. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fine by Allah's grace. Thank you for having me on your show.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming on. So, man, we want to get right into it. There's been so many different things that's been happening around business and retail. And, with this new administration coming in, they have shaken up a lot of different things. And one of the things was they rolled back DEI. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, that would take, certain people who were hired under that umbrella and remove them from those positions. And, people who in these big stores that adopted that policy, adopted the diversity, equity, and inclusion policy, have come out now, and some have stood with their DEI policies. Others have decided to take it back. So Target was one of those who decided that they were going to roll back their DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion policies and mandates. And now there is a petition and an actual boycott in effect of Target. So I wanted to get your thoughts as a Black entrepreneur on the boycott with Target.
Well, I definitely support the boycott. I think that those who are organizing the boycott should have an ask. We should never boycott without an ask, because it's just you're going through the motions.
Yes,
The statistics show us, Dr. King set the precedence during the Montgomery boycott, that if we hit them in the pockets, but there was a demand at that time, and the demand today is, so as we talk about equity, inclusion, and DEI, there was a commitment that Target and other companies made to invest back in the community, and we want to hold them to that. So I definitely support the boycott. I think that Black dollars matter.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. And Tabitha Brown. People who, if you're not familiar with Tabitha Brown, she is a Black entrepreneur, and she has various products that are in Target and other stores. She has business deals with these retailers to be able to distribute her products. So what I want to do is, she obviously being aware of everything that's going on, and she actually put out a video talking about her thoughts on the boycott of Target and other retail stores. So I want to actually play the video of her giving her thoughts on that, and then I want to hear kind of your thoughts on her position, about this, about the DEI rollback at Target, and specifically some of the points that Tabitha brings up. So let me go ahead and roll that clip, and then we'll be right back to it.
Sure.
Hold on.
It has been a tough week, right? And baby, it's been a tough 2025, and we are still in January. But I know many of you are asking and have asked and sent me messages about the recent DEI announcements at Target as well. And as disheartening as it is for me, I'm not the only one affected by this, right? It's for everyone who is a woman-owned business, minority-owned businesses, Black-owned businesses. It's for so many of us who work so very hard to be placed into retail, to finally be seen and approved for retail. Because contrary to whatever the world might tell you, it has been very hard for Black-owned businesses to hit shelves, right? Which is why it's such a big deal when we do finally land inside of retail. So it is definitely heartbreaking to feel unsupported, right? However, I am in business in multiple ways, with Target, with Walmart, and Amazon, right? I sell Donna's Recipe, my hair care products, right, are on Amazon. They're also in Target. And of course, I have a huge partnership with Target. I sell my seasonings at Walmart. I do business all over, just like many other people. And what I can tell you is If we all decide to boycott and be like, no, we're not spending no money at these organizations. Listen, I get it. And if that's how you feel, honey, I 1000% get it. But so many of us will be affected and our sales will drop. Our business will be hurt. And if any of you know business, it doesn't just happen overnight where you can just go take all your stuff and pull it off the shelves. There's a process. And then you got to, like, where you going to put it? You got to have a place to store it. That's money, right? You got to have another place to sell it, which is almost impossible sometimes. And even if you sell online, it's a process when it comes to business. And everyone does not have the funds or the means or the availability, the space to house their own products, right? But the thing that concerns me the most, and I want you to hear me and hear me well, if we all decide to stop supporting said businesses and say, I can't buy nothing from there, even the businesses who were affected by the DEI ban, right? What that does is you take all our sales and they dwindle down. And then those companies get to say, oh, your products are not performing. And they can remove them from the shelves and then put their preferred businesses on the shelves. And then what happens to all the businesses who've worked so hard to get where they are? Then what happens, right? Now, I know that something that could solve it is ownership of these big corporations, right? It's a long way to go there. There are amazing companies like the Village Market in Atlanta, right, who support small businesses, and you can go in there and there's some amazing things that you can buy. But it's one store and it's very small. We're talking about mass market. You can't build that overnight. Do we all sometimes have these big dreams and aspirations to do that? Absolutely, right? But it is easier said than done, but it's not impossible.
All right, so that was Sister Tabitha and her thoughts on the Target boycott. So, Chef Daryl, from your perspective, what do you think about what Sister Tabitha said?
Well, first, let me say that I support our sister 100%. I support her product line. And I think, I sympathize with her and I understand fully. My brand had a presence online in the Walmart presence, so I know how hard it is to get in there. What I would say, sometimes, we got to do what we have to do. And now is the time that we have to make a statement. But one of the things that I would suggest is that we all support Sister's online store,
Yes, sir.
sell out. And if those of us who want to be intentional, and the least we could do is go into the store and buy. And if you want to be intentional, just go and buy her product.
Right.
In the Walmart. Everybody has to do what they have to do. Certainly, we don't want her to suffer, but we cannot not boycott because there has to be a mass approach to this, and it must be felt. Because they think that the norm is that they're going to make the community is going to make a noise for a few weeks, and then these things going to go back to normal, and we need to let corporate know that that's not the case.
Yes, sir.
So I say all of those. I know that the National Black Chamber of Commerce has a list of Black businesses. We should go to that website, find out what the Black businesses online or in your cities are, and we should be intentional with our dollars. As every other ethnic group spends money in their own community, you will not see anybody outside of a Chinese person in a Chinese restaurant selling Chinese food. But if you ever sat back, I actually, one of the restaurants that I owned, my next door neighbor was a Chinese restaurant.
Oh, wow.
And there was a line 7 days a week, predominantly our people going in to purchase Chinese food. But when you went into those establishments and asked them to give back to that community, and support a particular cause, first thing they're going to tell you is business is slow. But they don't understand language barrier and they don't understand what you're asking for.
Wow. Yes, sir. Wow. So that's invaluable experience. To your point on the boycott. Yes, I agree. Because I'm gonna just keep it real. It was like you was kind of conflicted because Reverend Al Sharpton led a 100+ member buy-in of the National Action Network members to support Costco in their DEI efforts. And when I saw that, I said, we could take that same energy and instead of doing 100+ member buy-in for Costco, who doesn't necessarily need our 100 members to purchase anything out of Costco, we can take that effort and put it into, a black business who may be struggling in Harlem.
Exactly.
When I saw what Sister Tabitha Brown was saying, I agreed and sympathized with her position, but also the minister has taught us that business is warfare. So we are in war right now, and everybody has to buckle down. I heard somebody say that sometimes there's casualties in war, right?
Right.
And like you said, we have to be able to adjust and be intentional and say, okay, if we're gonna boycott Target, but still make sure that Tabitha Brown's products are still meeting the numbers and the quotas and things like that that are required of her to fulfill her business with these retailers, then we do that. But we also make sure that we support her online, and like I said, with the focus of making a statement, because as you said, it was Martin Luther King Jr. who set the precedent in the movement through the Montgomery bus boycott that we are going to hit them in the pockets. And because the bus lines felt the absence of our dollars, then we got action from them. We got a response from them because we was together, we was unified, and we made sure that we followed through. It wasn't just outrage for a couple of days or weeks, but we followed through and made sure that they felt the presence of our boycott.
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that was powerful.
So it's 2025. The struggle is just taking on new concepts, new ideas. But the struggle has been the same for us ever since we've come to the shores of this country. And, when they set the bar, now they are taking away these things, which is going to force us to unite.
Yes, sir.
And so we need schools, hospitals, and farmland. We need to be able to. It was said on one of the programs, a talk show host said, his answer to those of us who say do for self, how are we going to do for self without the white power structures, money to help us? Well, we pool our resources. And again, we're being intentional because other ethnic groups come into the community. They form a susu or a cooperative group of business people, and they decide they're going to open up a sneaker store. Be 5 different families throw their money into that sneaker store. They open it. They make a lot of money in the community. They send that money back to their country. Then another family takes over the sneaker store. The same thing happens with the Chinese restaurants. I was, again, neighbors to this particular Chinese restaurant. After 5 years, another family came in and kept it. They went back to Hong Kong, to China, and another family came over and they ran it for another 5 years. That money continued to go back and create an economic reality in those communities. So we have some phenomenal, brilliant people in our community. And it's not just Black people. When we say Black, brother, Black is universal. So our Latino brothers, our Native American brothers, our Chinese, even though the Chinese and Japanese sometimes don't think that their struggle aligns with ours, they're going to find out very soon that it does under this current administration. So all those who are like-minded need to come together. But in particular, Black people, who we are the lowest on the totem pole, and now they are affecting government contracts. So government contracts is going to affect a lot of Black-owned businesses, and we must also have land so that, for instance, we have a shortage of eggs.
Yes.
It's all of a sudden eggs got a problem, chicken got a problem,
Right.
broccoli got a problem, all of these problems, and there's no FDA oversight. And so what is happening? You remove all of the quote unquote migrants who
Mm-hmm.
were 80% of your farmers' help.
Right.
So now
That's
the
true.
food that's in the ground, we're going to feel it in a couple of days when that food that did not make it to the market rots in the fields.
Mm.
In the hotels industry, you're going to feel it. In the restaurant industry, you're going to feel it. So yes, national boycott, supporting online Black businesses, and being intentional in your community. Go to that restaurant in your community, go to whatever Black businesses, hair shop, nail shop, whatever, and say, you know what, I drove halfway around across town and I want to support your business today and demand quality service
Yes,
and
sir.
product.
And you just made me think of something, because I just was listening to the radio and they was talking about the egg shortage, and they were saying because of, whatever this outbreak of the bird flu or whatever is, one of the causes of the shortage of the eggs. And it didn't dawn on me, obviously, because of what's happening with the immigration. You were moving, those people who did those jobs. And now you have food that's not going to be making it to market. You have this thing with the eggs, and it's causing an issue. And everything that the minister has been warning us about, because ultimately you're talking about food shortages. Everything the minister has been talking to us about is coming into reality. And I was saying to myself, I said, man, I'm about to start supplying eggs. I got a couple of
Yes,
people. I got a
yes,
couple of people that I know. I'm about to just go ahead and start wholesaling them bad boys and then selling them. Like, look, you ain't got no eggs, because you're gonna have to come see me now. Cause they $10 in Kroger. They $9
right,
in Kroger. You're gonna have to come see me to get you some eggs. So what all of this is taking place is going to force us into the mindset of unity. And I was gonna say that I believe this national boycott of Target, can be a springboard into channeling the energy now to more Black-owned businesses and being intentional and consistent. Because I think this administration is going to continue to do what they're going to do, which is going to force us to have to stay consistent. Because they're
right,
not gonna do it and then change, right? They're gonna stay with what they have in their mind to do. So we're gonna have to be consistent in our support of one another. So
right.
when it comes to, so I'm just thinking about, okay, that national boycott is gonna say, hey, listen, I gotta seek out a Black-owned restaurant now. I have to start purchasing, food and different services and supplies that I need from my own business. Is going to force us to circulate the dollar. So with you having,
Right.
30 years of experience in the restaurant industry, and, founding the restaurant, Daryl's Place, developing your own seasonings, your own breading, obviously the original bean pie, having these products. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What are you seeing in your particular city? In your city around Black business, and are people now becoming, seeking you out more? What is kind of the experience now because of everything that's been taking place?
Well, I'm glad to be on your platform, and I do in 2025 plan to come out of the kitchen and do more podcasts, and also do some Facebook and Instagram lives, because I really want to talk to people about eating clean and healthy food.
Hmm.
All of our products are natural, non-GMO, and we outsource some of the best products. So, for instance, you mentioned the bean pie.
Yes, sir.
Um, I was voted best bean pie on the East Coast. Now, for those who eat bean pie, you know,
Best bean pie on the East Coast. You got a
well,
plaque or
let me tell
something?
you,
Did they give you a
let
plaque
me
or
tell you,
award?
let me tell you how that came about.
Yes,
Our
sir.
former regional minister, Abdul Hafiz Muhammad, he was the one that coined, brother, this is the best bean pie on the East Coast. He's coming out of New York City.
Yes, sir.
Uh, Captain Majid on the regional Captain Majid on the East Coast, enjoyed the bean pie. But recently we had a visit from Chi-Town.
Okay.
And none other than our national assistant, Brother Ishmael Muhammad,
Yes,
came.
sir.
We had dinner. And at the dinner table, he heard me say I had the best bean pie. So he said, we got to put that to a test. So we had the regional minister, Brother Arthur Muhammad, Brother Captain Majid. We had Brother Randy from Boston,
Okay.
the local minister here in Springfield, Brother Johnny, and others. And they cut the pie. And they had some other bean pies that were present as well.
Okay.
And they all said, yep, hands down, Chef Daryl, you got the best bean pie on the East Coast. So, but
Oh, yes, sir.
that came
Yes,
from,
sir.
there are various people that make bean pies, and all bean pies are not the same. And
All
you
bean
know that,
pies not
that,
equal.
when you open a pie and it's brown in the middle, dark brown,
Hmm.
look like a chocolate pie, you know that ain't the one.
Right.
So when you look at my page and you see that nice thick custard, our deep dish bean pie is in high demand, and you definitely got to look for the logo. So when people see that Chef Daryl,
Yes, sir.
you know, they know that that's the one that they want, and I spend a lot of time. So right now with the egg shortage, we use organic cage-free eggs.
Okay.
We use all natural sugar, organic butter. Those things are high, in
Right.
pricing. And so, we use the best product. So we give a gourmet version of the pie and not something that just was thrown together. We've been doing this now. I've been baking a bean pie for 25 years.
Okay, so
Uh,
you a bean
and I
pie
learned
making
how to
vet.
make the bean pie in Richmond, Virginia.
Oh, shout out to Richmond. Shout out to
Yeah,
Richmond. Shout out to VA. Two up,
yeah,
two down.
yeah.
For sure.
I'd be remiss if I didn't give the credit to my dear sister Halima Muhammad in Richmond, Virginia.
Yes, sir.
Uh, she makes one of the best bean pies in Richmond, in my opinion. And then I took what she gave me, and then I added on to it. And last time I saw her, she said, "Brother, you got a good pie." So I try to keep within that tradition, brother. And same thing with all of our products, the sweet and tangy sauce, which is in the staple goods program. Uh, it's these products. Then we actually have the sweet and tangy. We have the barbecue. We have the honey mustard. We have the sweet chili sriracha, and we have a hot sauce and a garlic parmesan. All of those products will be on sale at Savior's Day, 2025, God willing. So we will
Oh,
be in the vending area, and you just look for me. I'll be in my custom chef outfit, as you can see.
yes, sir. Absolutely. You gotta have a brand, brother. So that means, man, your pie gotta be on the national level at this point in time. National
Yeah, I
pie.
think I think it's a good pie. In Chicago got a good pie. A lot of people, there's some good pies around. I just try to do what I do and be the best at it. And as a consumer, we're gonna spend our money where we feel best and where our taste buds lead us. I will
Yes, sir.
say this about a brick and mortar restaurant: it's very expensive today to open up a brick and mortar restaurant. And so I'm suggesting that folks who are thinking about getting into this industry, you can go with a food trailer or a food truck. A lot of cities and a lot of restaurateurs are coming away from the brick and mortar and open up the food truck.
Yes.
You save some money that way. Um, and I also really want to I don't want to get off the subject of the eggs and the butter and the milk and the other supplies that we need, the navy bean, which I get from our farm.
Yes, sir.
Um, but we want to be able to get land so that we can be in control of the raw materials, because I shouldn't have to depend on Kroger or Aldi's or any of the big box stores for my eggs, when I could go to you or someone who's in the egg business and say, brother, and I go through a lot of eggs. So it's
Yes,
nothing for
sir.
me to go to 50, probably 25, 30 dozen of eggs a week.
Wow. So
So
just keeping on that same line. Are we gonna be expecting a Chef Daryl's food truck rolling around a city near you soon?
we we are in partnership. We do have a brother here in the city who sells Shabazz chicken wings,
Okay.
and he and I work together closely, and we got some things in the working. So as this economy changes, we got to be able to adapt.
Yes, sir.
And so you got,
Absolutely.
I'm saying to anybody that's fearful, that the 9 to 5 may stop. Stop thinking about what your own A lot of people have creativity that has not been manifest. And Brother Ben talks about that on his podcast a lot. Fear, you got to be able to overcome that, because you may have something that you like to paint, or you got arts and crafts, or, some food items or whatnot. And then look for 5 to 6 like-minded people. Don't always think that you got to do everything by yourself. Look for other people who may share your idea, and then put it into work, pull your resources, and make it happen. Because there's no help coming. America has let us go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's it. That's it. America has let us go, family. So if you just joining us here on Shifting the Culture podcast, I'm your host, Brother King Cam, and I'm here with our good brother, Chef Daryl. And America has let us go. And the thing, man, we get so upset. I've been seeing online, every time President Trump signs a executive order, and the first thing black people are doing is, oh my God, why would he sign that executive order? Oh my God, he's going to destroy this and he's going to destroy that. Well, we got to understand that, as the minister said, God has him there. And because he's there to do a particular job. He's there to do a particular work. And ultimately, God wants black people to go free. And if God wants black people to go free, that means you cannot continue to depend on your enemy for your needs. So since you were unwilling to remove yourself on your own, under your own power, under your own will, under your own volition, now what has to happen is that God is going to remove you. So how does God remove you? He puts in an administration that's going to put things in place that's going to be opposite, or going to oppose your ability to depend on them. So now what's happening is the egg prices are going up, as you mentioned. See, this DEI rollback is forcing black people to now get into a mindset of boycotting. So now you want to pull your money out of Target. Okay, well then when you pull your money out, where you going to put it into? You're going to have to put it into your own community. Because see, now the stage is being set for us to have to come back to self and look to self and depend on self to be able to get anything done. And now President Trump is moving on the educational system. He's moving on the Department of Education. So what does that mean? Right. Now we're going to have to do what? We're going to have to start teaching our own children, homeschooling, thinking about establishing our own institutions and all of that kind of stuff. So, man, it's coming to the point of the program of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, pushed by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, do for self or suffer the consequences. So, now when we talking about this business, how you talked about the food trucks and things like that. And in my mind, I'm just thinking about, okay, how many people, going to be trying to find food and they want to purchase they want to support a black business, but you could just pull up with the food truck. You can pull up into these establishments and pull up at these places with the food truck. You're able to move around. And I think the future of the restaurant, well, as it's trending right now, is into a more of a food truck type of style, because people are not going out and sitting out as much as they used to, but they are eating in their homes, and everything is more mobile. So, that food truck is pretty much a way of the future. I would happy to see, with all these other food trucks out there, we see I'm just thinking, because I see the logo. I got the logo up here with the white in your picture in the background. I see the white truck with that face of that beautiful black man on there that say Chef Daryl's Foods and sauces and stuff there, rolling around the city, brother. So I think, man, that'll be important. So do you see the national boycott being able to redirect the money back into the community and saying, hey, you got to support Chef Daryl now. We got to support the seasoning and the breading and the bean pie and all those different things?
Yes, I do. And I think that, we want to spark that same type of feeling we had in the 60s and the 70s with a movement. So this is a movement. And the movement, the basis of this movement got to be love. We've got to love one another. We got to get away from the hateration and the dissing, and really look at the fact that, when you see your brother, you're looking at yourself or your sister, and people are going to be suffering. Let me tell you something. They're about to cut services. And when they cut welfare, Medicaid,
Yes, sir.
Section 8, Social Security, and these type of things, there's going to be uproar in the community because the average urban community depends on that. And we know, uh, contrary to what people think, other folks get more welfare than we do.
Right.
Okay, so they're going to get a wake up call too, for voting in who they voted in. But we're going to have a problem. So we want to have love, we want to have patience. Certainly, some of the small businesses cannot deliver the same as a national brand.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
why don't you have this and why don't you have that? Well, what we want to do is also help some of these businesses to be better so that they can provide quality service, quality products, fast delivery. The customer service has to be paramount. We
So
can't argue with people.
right. So how does that look? What does that look like? Because you mentioned the fact that some of these businesses obviously are not going to be able to deliver like the bigger brands, the national brands. So how do we help them to be able to deliver like that? How do we get to that point? What does the
Well,
process look like?
you have a lot of business incubators. So one of the things that I did to stop my business is I reached out to a business incubator in my city. Um, as I said, I worked for national chains, so I knew how to manage $1 million payrolls. I knew how to manage the back of the house and the front of the house in a full service restaurant, mainly the kitchen though. But I even went out to the front of the house. So for people who may not be familiar with that term, it simply means your kitchen or your wait staff and your management, your bartender, those type of things. So when I understood how a restaurant ran, when I opened up my own restaurant, I understand how to, make it profitable. Um, Today, a lot of the resources are going to be cut. So you have your existing restaurants. We should, go to those restaurants, and not only should we support them, but those restaurants are going to, so you can support them as a customer, but you can also support your businesses by opening up a business that might help that business, such as going to someone who's a farmer and say, listen, I'll get all the eggs that you have. I'll get butter. I'll get these type of things. I'll get my meats. See, this is not new in other cultures. When I had my business, I sold halal meat.
Yes,
So I
sir.
can go into the Arab community or the Jewish community, get kosher or halal meat from them. They've been doing this for a long time. We 30 years, 20 to 30 years behind the eight ball in terms of
Mm,
this whole concept about supporting one another because the Indians are doing it.
yes,
Those from
sir.
India, Pakistan, the Middle East, China, every ethnic group, West Indian community. You don't see these businesses. West Indian, there's 5 or 6 West Indian restaurants in our community, 10 or 15 Chinese restaurants. They're not going out of business.
Right. No
So we
matter
have to
what the
look at
economy got going on.
what other successful businesses are doing, and we have to mirror some of those successes. And it also comes, and we're going to have to talk to people, step out of our comfort zone, and ask questions. So I buy all my spices from a Indian shop here. They
Yes, sir.
control all the spices, and I
Yes, sir.
go in. I ask a lot of questions. Where do you get the spices from? How long you been in business?
Hmm.
Is it second or third generation? Because
Hmm.
I hope to bring some of my family members in with me to do some things. And I'm also a landowner, and I look to expand Chef Daryl's Foods in the southern market, preferably in Georgia.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes, sir.
know, so we're going to have to educate ourselves and get. It's okay. We're using the social media platform now, but Google and Instagram. I mean, Google and YouTube. So it's a lot of information. Pick up books, but we got to educate ourselves on the basics of running a business. We got to understand, profitability and
Hmm.
knowing how to price your product and make it profitable in the marketplace. And again, don't think you have to do everything, but I would suggest anybody to go into a business incubator if you have it in your region or city, because they'll help you with SBA loans. They'll help you with understanding how to market. I have a good marketing team
Hmm.
uh, that does all of the logo that you see, and all of the signage on my products is done by a company called the Label Design Geek.
Oh wow!
They're
Shout
on
out to the label
Instagram,
Design Geek.
and she does a phenomenal, Monica Robinson. She does a phenomenal job with handling. Also, what you see on social media is done by a strong team, and
Yes,
she
sir.
has been able to land her products as a business owner into big box stores. You
Wow,
know,
that's what's up.
so um, it's our time now. We gotta, we gotta have faith. Regardless of
Yes, sir.
what your faith is, whether you're Muslim, Christian, Jehovah
Right,
Witness, it don't
right,
matter. Hebrew,
right.
Israelite, God is God, ain't but one God.
Man, I
So
had
have your
a
faith, love your people, and get out there and make it happen.
And you know what, that resonated with me so much because I am launching some different things as well. So, I just been in that mindset. I'm launching a couple of different things here on the podcast. What we're doing, we're about to produce some different products. I'm also launching another business. So, and one of the things that happened to me today, I was in a meeting with a very important city official in my city, and we went and we had a conversation with him, just to let him know that, hey, listen, we doing our work in the community, in any way that we can assist you all with your work in the community. Let us know. We want to be in partnership. We want to be lockstep with one another. And do you know, brother, we literally walked into because the brother that I was with has a security company, and that brother was offered a contract for his security company in our meeting. Like, it was just like, and it wasn't because we came in there to talk about contracts or anything like that, but it was just God moving at this
That's
time,
right.
to let us know that it's time for us to go free. It's time for
Right.
you now to go for self. And if you have enough faith and if you have enough belief, then when you go and you step out on faith, God will bless you. But you got to be willing to take that first step. So, as they say in the church, if you take one step towards God, he'll take 10 steps towards you. So
That's
we
right.
got to take that one step towards God, and he'll take those 10 steps towards us, and that will be our blessing, because while America's falling, we rising. So while we
Right.
thinking everything is going down the drain, when really God is just removing those who have not
Come
been
on.
good husbandmen over the vineyard. See, he's removing those who have not been good shepherds over the flock, and now he's going to put new shepherds and new husbandmen over the vineyard and over the flock, and you're going to be able to have the abundance. But the thing about it is, we got to be ready to put that work in, though. Chef Daryl, you talked about it. You got to be ready to. You got to be ready to work. You got to be ready to network. You got to be ready to talk to people, like you said. You got to get out here, introduce yourself to different people, ask as many questions as possible, learn, research with all the resources we got. Google, the library, YouTube. There's no reason why you can't understand what's going on in whatever industry you got that you're trying to get into, because you got all the information that's available to you. So, it's
Yes,
our
sir.
time. It's our time now. It's
It's
our
our
time
time.
now. Yes, sir. So, how I know we got family. Y'all heard me pushing it. We've been pushing it. It's Savior's Day season. All roads lead to Chicago. So we'll be in Chicago. Those who are attending Savior's Day, obviously you'll run into Chef Daryl there, and have an opportunity to purchase the products. But how can people support your online business, order the sauces, the bean pie, and all of the products that you offer?
All they have to do is go to chefdarylsfoods.com. Again, that's chefdarylsfoods.com. That Daryl is spelled Daryls,
Yeah.
Daryl's.
Yes, sir.
And you go there. We got a sale going on now.
Come on.
We will have a sale during Savior's Day. Uh, we have peach cobbler, which I will be, as you see,
Oh my
when I get
gosh.
off this podcast, I'll be going to the kitchen,
Yes, sir.
making up a fresh pan of peach cobbler. We've been looking for some apples, some fresh apples. So hopefully I
Okay.
can get some apple cobbler done
Come on.
this week. Um, we do banana pudding only local right now because we're still trying to figure out how to ship that banana pudding
Right, right, right,
across
right. Come
country.
on. Yes,
And
sir.
of course, the famous bean pie, butternut squash
Hmm.
pie. If
Yes,
you've
sir.
never had butternut squash, we sold out during Thanksgiving. It was a big hit.
Wow.
Go to my page, look at some of the testimonials.
Yes, sir. That's what's up.
Go to some of the testimonials. We had people from as far as Arizona testing the pie down there, and they loved it. So it gives you that same profile as a sweet potato, but it's much more healthier for you than the sweet potato because a lot of people ask me, excuse me,
Yes, sir.
why don't I make sweet potato? Sweet potato
Right.
is high in glycemic acid, and in that high glycemic acid with the high carb affects people with diabetes. So as we put information out on to talk about the health benefits of the navy bean, the health benefits of the butternut squash, things of that nature, natural sugars I use in the peach cobbler and apple cobbler instead of the white sugar. But I enjoy what I'm doing, brother. It's a labor of love. I enjoy seeing people enjoy my products. And I was looking at an old soft sheen commercial from the 70s, and I was so inspired of how much, soft sheen, ebony, jet magazine. We've got to go back to that. We've got to go back to, natural hair,
Yes, sir.
natural soap, natural toothpaste, black owned products. I know there's a black toilet paper company out there, black
Yes.
dishwashing powder. All of these things are out there. I think there was a website called We Buy Black.
Yep.
You know,
We buy
seek
black.
these sites out, and it's a beautiful thing. So when you open up your refrigerator and you see the bottle of the sweet and tangy in there,
Come
and you
on.
say, "Wow, that's my brother." And so we coin on here says, "Whose sauce is in your fridge?" And so
Right.
it's $1 billion market. The condiment business is $1 billion market. Heinz, Texas Pete,
Right. Hunts.
French's,
French's. Yep. Mustard.
French's
French's mustard.
mustard, but they don't diverse that money back into the community. Do you know we support the Black College Tour, Chef Daryl's Foods?
Wow. Shout
We
out to that.
support Savior's Day Gift.
Yes, sir.
We support local dojo here that's got young kids going there. So when you come to me, know that the money is and the dollar is being turned back into the community. That's the benefit of supporting your own, because again, corporations, they make big money, and that money is going really. We're the only people that invest in our own oppression,
Wow. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
because other
Well,
ethnic groups and the people, Chinese don't move in our community. They take that money and move out into the middle class community, yet they make all of their money. Same thing with people from the Middle East. They come in, they sell a lot of the chicken places. Why? Why in every community across the country, those who are selling chicken are from the Middle East? So
that's
they
right.
selling chicken and hot sauce to us, biscuits and all that kind of stuff. Crown Chicken, it's a couple other big chicken companies. They right in the hood.
Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
you go in there and say, "Hey, brother, my church is having something. The mosque is having something. Can you?" "Oh, I can't do it." But you're taking 20, 30 grand a week out the community,
That's right.
and you putting your children in better schools and colleges. So it's time now.
Yes, sir.
It's
Yes,
time.
sir.
This administration is going to turn the screws on us and force us to do something for ourselves. But
Yes,
God
sir.
is on our side.
That's right. That's right. Well, there you have it, family. There you have it, man. Chef Daryl, man, we appreciate you for coming through and rocking with us here at Shifting the Culture podcast, man. We want to just give you a round of applause and thank you
Thank you.
for giving, your perspective and coming and chop it up with us. And we definitely want to make sure that we invite you back. But man, we appreciate you again. Thank you so much for all of the insight. And man, we look forward to having you back on the platform.
All right. All roads lead to Chicago. See you there next week. Visit us
Absolutely.
at our booth in the vending area. And again, chefdarylsfoods.com.
Absolutely. Yes,
Peace.
sir. Peace out.
Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find the leadership of our own.
You know. Not your average nigga, I'm a god out the hood. They can't downplay me. I came up, I'm elevated. I ain't gotta say too much for them to know I'm coming for what's mine. You know they see me in my presence, say they see how I'm coming. Young, but you not just gonna finesse me like you did my peoples. Then back when you said they was emancipated. This ain't that. Your head too big, you feeling yourself. The game wasn't fair, you had the advantage, we wasn't educated. I don't look at you people the same. Nah. Your worst nightmare, my skin tone about them chains. Yeah. Not no circus lion, son, I can't be tamed. You gon' have to kill me, pussy, Toby ain't my name. Y'all still want us think our history started when we were slaves? What? Come on now, talk about them pyramids we made. I was chosen by that man, you know y'all just been running game. The nerve of you acting like